بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم my beloved ones ورحمة الله وبركاته. So now we have the again Q&A sessions about sa'i. So we have one or two sessions and inshallah we'll be done with the sa'i and taqsir and then we'll enter the manasik al-hajj. So the question is it permissible to perform the sa'i on a wheelchair? So this whole Q&A session, there are about 7 questions. They speak about wheelchair. Now we have the concept of wheelchair. Tawaf, sa'i. Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah has the person who is on the wheelchair has control over the person who's pushing the wheelchair. When he says stop, stop. When he says wudu, wudu. When he says I want to go restroom, when he says slow down, slow down. So this control needs to be there. If he's not, if that the guy is not, he's controlling. Okay, like we said, in situation where a person sleeps, or a person loses conscious, or a person is watching whatever things, games on cell phone. I mean, if these are some of the youth I know, they would just spend their time. Baba, this ibadat area, or messaging, chatting his fiancé or something like that. Just chat with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is not, no, pay attention. This is sa'i. You are doing on wheelchair as you are doing by yourself on your foot. So your foot are under your control, your feet are under control. Your wheelchair should be under control like your feet. That means the wheelchair, either you do by yourself wheelchair, and either by somebody pushing. And by the way, they have this electronic wheelchairs, but they're not allowed down, they're on the top. So make sure that you are not doing on the according to say the Sistani Damadullah, that you can't go on the top floor. It's all about consideration about between two mountains. So is the question number one, and there are repetitions. So if I see repetition, what is there something new added? We're going to talk about it. Um, is it permissible to perform the sa'i on a wheelchair optionally? The answer is, if he is the one who is um, controlling, I mean, running the wheelchair, like, with your hands, you just move the wheels, or you have the control of it totally, or somebody else is pushing the wheelchair. Either you are pushing by yourself, either somebody else is pushing your wheelchair. However, that someone is under your control. Whenever you can, whenever you want, you can stop without. Okay, you tell him stop without any requirement to ask from the one who's pushing the wheelchair. Then it would be permissible optionally. Okay, so here the word he says that duna an yatlub min dhalik. Duna an yatlub min dhalik, that means you don't need to ask, you can stop automatically. He's pushing, so how can that be? Just pull the brake. Because you have brake in the wheelchair. Okay, so just pull the brake and test out if you are able to control your stop whenever you want without telling them. That's fine. And normally you can just take your foot out and stop, or just to do a try. Okay, that I can stop it. This is something very specific. Normally, the ruling is that if it's under your control, that if you tell him stop, he stops immediately. If you tell him go, he goes. That's your control. But here, this answer has a specification that you can stop whenever you want without asking him. So total control is in your hand. That means you can pull the brake, and that's it. Because how can you picture he's pushing and without asking him, he would stop You don't have telepathic hyperbolic irfani power that you close your eye, he gets the message, and he stops immediately or something like that, whatever. No, it is like you pull the brake and you stop, and then he gets the message. He will not push anymore. This is like an example. متى شاء من دون طلب منه. So he says ولكنه كان متمكنا. Okay. إذا كان هو الذي يقود العربة أو يقودها الغير، ولكنه كان متمكن من إيقافها بنفسه متى شاء دون أن يطلب ذلك من قائد العربة. جاز السعي فيها اختيارا. He says you mentioned in مناسك الحج it is permissible to do the wheelchair, to do optionally sa'i on a wheelchair. Okay. However, if the if a person was someone else moving the wheelchair. Okay. No, the question is like this. You have mentioned that it is permissible to do the sa'i uh, uh, on something like wheelchair. I mean that because we don't have camels and these kind of things. So the only option we have is wheelchair, or down area. The only option is wheelchairs. So is it permissible? So the answer is rakiban. That means on camel or something. So the questioner asked that is it permissible to do or um, the sa'i on the wheelchair, uh, having someone else pushing it, and he just sits on it. He says optionally it is not permissible because he did not do the sa'i, someone else did it. So that means you have to have a control over the wheelchair. Like in question number 1, he said, if you want to stop, you can stop without him telling you to stop. So he said, if you're just sitting there, he says, the question, وَإِنَّمَا يَجْلِسُ السَّاعِي عَلَيْهَا فَقَط. You just sit. That means everything is done by the one who pushes the wheelchair. And that's obvious. The main theme is, do you have full control or not? If you don't have full control, then your sa'i is not permissible on the wheelchair optionally. If you were excused, like those people, disabled people, something like that, that's something else. We are talking about optionally. Optionally, no. Disabled people, they have a different case. Many people, many hujjaj, they do the sa'i on the wheelchair to avoid any exhaust or fatigue or becoming tired. And other people, they push this wheelchair. However, they have the control to stop it. So is it obligatory upon the religious guide of the caravan to alert them that you need to have full control? Oh, sorry, that the question is opposite. Many of the Hujjaj, they perform their sa'i on these wheelchairs to relieve themselves from getting tired or fatigued. And this wheelchair is pushed by someone else. Without having any control, not with control, without having any control to stop. And obviously, it's not permissible. So, in this case, the question is here, is it obligatory upon the religious guide of the caravan to inform them? He said, yes. So, the religious guide of the caravan needs to inform the wheelchairers that you need to have full control. That means whenever you want to stop, you can stop. Question number 4. Whoever performs the sa'i on the wheelchair and was not able to control its movement, however, he was able to throw himself from it whenever he can. He doesn't have control of wheelchair. But when he wants to stop and the guy doesn't stop, he can jump on something like that. Okay. So will it be sufficient? Okay. He just wants to use wheelchair, but the guy, if you pay him less, he's going to rush and just finish the sa'i. Unless if you pay him extra, then he can give the full control to you, and you can use the brake also to stop whenever you want to stop. So is it sufficient? He says, will his sa'i be sufficient? He says it is problematic to consider that sufficient to jump off and you don't have control. So what about the remaining sa'i you did without? No, it's not about you can wherever you can stop. No, the whole sa'i from the beginning till the end you need to have that control. It's not just like the size that somebody is doing and then you decide to stop and he's not stopping, you jump. That's not control. So whoever becomes exhausted during the sa'i and gets on the wheelchair and someone else moves it, pushes it in the remaining of the sa'i, will it be permissible for them? Now, when somebody asks this question, that means he did not have control. So he says that uh, rather than getting on this wheelchair where you will not have control, someone else is going to control it, someone else is going to do. If you can rest for a while and then continue your sa'i, then this kind of someone else pushing you will not be sufficient, okay, will not be valid. So if he was able to rest for a while, so avoid being on wheelchair which is not under your control, which you cannot stop it whenever you want to stop. Okay. If he is able to rest and then continue performing the sa'i the way he has been doing to relieve his fatigue, it will not be permissible for him to let somebody else push his wheelchair without him having any control. Question number 6. If a woman, she got exhausted during the sa'i, so someone else um, did the sa'i for her on the wheelchair. However, um, if she waits until tomorrow, next day, because sa'i needs to be in the same day. So they're asking about the option. Either she's tired and exhausted, either she does the sa'i today because she did the tawaf and sa'i today, tawaf and salat al tawaf, or she delays the sa'i on the next day where she could do by herself. So will that be valid? He said, yes, it will be valid. So do your sa'i by yourself. If you are tired today, no problem. Then you can do it next day. But optionally, you cannot delay your sa'i on next day. And that's why now they have this electronic wheelchairs. You see, like one of the mu'mineen, I was doing sa'i on the Mizanian floor, okay, where you can see the Kaaba. No, I'm sorry. I was doing tawaf and we came we on the Mizanian floor where you can see the Kaaba. And then this one of my friends says, Sheikh, Batman is coming. I said, what? So I looked behind. Be careful, he said. Batman is coming. I said, what? There was a lady with all the abba and everything, and her abba was flapping, and she was in a good high speed doing the tawaf around the Kaaba on her scooter self. She was doing on herself, mashallah. Yeah, so there are, like, you can do the sa'i, okay, by yourself on the top floor on the scooters, on the Mizanian, but not on the Safa Marwa on the ground floor. Ground floor, there are people, they have wheelchairs, they push you. I mean, you can, this guy who's pushing wheelchair, you can take the wheelchair from him. I mean, you can give him some money. The only portion is you can do the wheelchair by yourself, uh, but the only portion is where you are going to go up on the top and come down. Then you can get off and just go a little bit up and come down, and then do your own wheelchair by yourself if you are able to. This is optional thing. Or if somebody is pushing, as we mentioned, if you are able to stop it, even if somebody, because the first question was clear that if he is by himself pushing the wheelchair, or someone else is pushing, but he is able to stop it by himself whenever he wants without asking the one who's pushing the wheelchair, then optionally it will be. So make sure that your hand is on the brake, and just to make your intention confirm, just pull the brake several times and shock that guy who's pushing the chair behind you. But make sure that no one is behind you. They might collide with the guy who's pushing, and these wheelchair edges, they hit the foot, and oh my goodness, that's so painful. So therefore, yeah, I mean, somebody can push as long as you can stop whenever you want to stop. You can pull the brake. You have ways. You can pull the legs out and put it on the floor, for example, if the brakes are not working, like that Flintstone cars, you see. So they run on that foot. And okay, so like bicycle. I don't know whether they allow you to put a bicycle inside, because bicycle is total under your control. So that will be really fancy sa'i between Safa and Marwa. Where are we in Denmark? So in Denmark, if you want to cross the road, suddenly you'll see 10, 12, 15 bikes coming, and you are afraid that they'll run over you. So in Copenhagen especially. So therefore, question number 7, yeah, there are electronic wheelchairs between Safa and Marwa, but these are not on the ground floor. These are for those who are following a Maraja, who allow them to do from the top floor. There they have the Batman kind of scooters, you see. Uh, he says that there are electronic wheelchairs between Safa and Marwa. And um, me and my wife, we took those uh, because the electronic wheelchair can handle two people, so they can sit side by side, and they can express their spiritual love, okay, of their life, being together in one scooter, together, romantic sa'i, okay. So anyhow, he said, me and my wife, we did on this electronic wheelchair, which is scooter, okay, and together, because it allows two people to be on it, and the control, we both were able to control that. Both of people, I think they must be brake this side, like those driver's license class. Brakes are on two sides. When you want to learn driving, they have this brake on the other side as well, so you don't ram something on the wall or something like that, or a car. So he said that, and it was possible that both of them could control to stop, yeah, control either to turn, either to stop, either to move and go. The total control was in the hand of both of us. But I was riding it, but my wife could control it any time, um, by stopping it. Will that sa'i be valid, or she needs to redo it? Because I was driving, she was with me, but she had the control as well. I don't know. I can only picture the driver's license classes where you have two brakes or something, or she could just hit the buttons in the front of the husband, and then it could stop suddenly. So the answer is, if she was able to stop the wheelchair or the scooter, in this case electronic, whenever she could, then her sa'i will be valid. But Sayyidina, did they tell you that where do these scooters are permissible in Sa'i area? It is on the top floor, and you don't allow that. So yes, his Sa'i will be correct if the scooter was down. They don't allow you to get the scooter down. Or maybe if you can convince the people in Masjid al-Haram or the one who are controlling the Sa'i between Safa and Marwa, they will allow you. But they are very strict and very tough in these things. So uh, next session, the next these questions of wheelchair is done. The whole idea about wheelchair is one: you need to have total control of stopping whenever you want to stop. Okay, whenever you want to go, then you are the one boss there. So that means the stop, you are able to stop it without someone asking you to stop. That's the meaning of full control. If optionally, if a person is disabled, that's fine. Then but still disabled also need to have control, not to stop whenever. But yeah, if he has a hand on the brake. But let's say he was a very khityar and very old woman or old guy, where we can pull the brake or something like that, or become Flintstone. So yeah, in that case, if he's not, then whatever control he has, as long as he tells him, wait, I need to go do the wudu. Wait, I need to go to the wudu is not needed. Washroom, for example, I can't hold it. So, question, is it permissible to walk in the side of the uh, walkway of Safa and Marwa and not in the middle? It is permissible. Now, is this question coming? According to the Sheikh Wahid al-Khurasani, he says, walk in the middle, in that middle area beside the wheelchairers. I think that may be the thing. As long as you start from the original area where Safa is, as long as you end where the Marwa is, then you can walk in this side, this side, this side, middle, like middle of the Mas'a, which is like close to the wheelchairers, or middle means middle of the path of Safa, or whatever. So he says it's permissible. Number two, question number two: is it required that the niyyah, uh, is it when is it when making the intention of sa'i, is it required that a person who's going to do sa'i, he faces the entire body to Marwa, or he can be like this and like this? So is it required to face Marwa because you're starting from Safa sa'i? Is it required to face Marwa when doing the intention of sa'i? He says it doesn't, it's not required. Is it with all the body parts? The question is with all the body parts, with hands and with legs facing Marwa. He says it's not required. It's just يكفي أن يستقبلها من حين الشروع في السير. It is sufficient when you start and you end, you need to face it. That is the optional sa'i. That when you're going, you're facing Marwa. When you're coming back, you're facing Safa. But here in this situation of this curve, you just give your back to Safa. And when you're coming to Marwa, then face Marwa at that end segment. Somebody stopped. Question number three. Somebody stopped during the sa'i and he looked behind, uh, looking for someone lost from his fellows, companions. And then after that, he continued. He stopped. He was not walking in reverse, like walking in reverse. No, he, he stopped, he looked behind, and then he turned and he continued. So will that affect his sa'i? He says, no. If he did not move looking behind, there's no problem. If he did not take any step moving behind, there's no problem. Okay. So the question number 4 says that if a person who was performing the sa'i got deviated due to the crowd, so what happened when he was deviated? The crowd, he got pushed because of the crowd, a step or 2 steps. And in this crowd, when he got pushed, he was not facing Marwa. And again, we are talking about typical normal sa'i. When you're walking, you're facing Marwa. But in the case of alternate or secondary type of sa'i, where you have to go the new area, then you don't have to face the Marwa while in the, because there's no Marwa in front of you. Otherwise, Marwa is here and you are walking here, so you have to walk like this. Okay, like all the way walking sideways, like facing the Marwa, like in angle. So no, you there, once you start giving your back to Marwa, go to the right side, there's no Marwa in front of you, so you are just walking straight forward, not looking behind. Okay, so he says that let's say he was walking in the old area, that's where this can happen. Okay, he's going wrong side, and there's a huge, and there are some groups coming, mashallah. If they're fast, they might stampede you. So, and they see you are coming wrong side, that means you are violating the law, you should go that, they will point ishara, go there, do sa'i there. Okay, if they find out, so you are just walking on the side to the Safa area. So what happened, that here this crowd comes and whoopsie daisy, you got pushed away. Okay, you got pushed away while you're going where? To Marwa, because you are going to Marwa on the old area, and the people are coming from the old area, so chances are that you might be hit, I mean you might be pushed. So he says, so a few steps he got in, he got like altered. Okay, and he was not able to face Marwa in these few steps. He kept like going like this. Okay, after the push, he pulled himself and he went few step or 2 steps like that. So he was not, his entire body was not like, he was part of the body was that. بل انحرف بمنكبه بعض الشيء. So his shoulder moved like that. Okay, some, but his body was Marwa, but his shoulder went pushed. So what is going to be the ruling of his sa'i? In 2 cases, he was unaware, or he had forgotten the rule. He says if he was, the rest of the body parts were facing, like he got like this, but still like he got like this, but the foot, the rest of the body part was still facing Marwa, then there is no problem in these steps. What if there was a problem? Come back. And for me, if Marwa, no Marwa, if you just take few steps and you got a little bit here and there, I just precautionary go back to 2 steps. Nothing to lose. Just add 2 steps. Just add 5 steps, rather than someone tells you your sa'i is invalid and it's a rukun from Arkan al-Umrah or Arkan al-Hajj, and you have to kiss your Umrah goodbye or something like that. So just do these like few footsteps behind and just carry on. I mean, if you doubt that, oh, I might have done this and that. So question number 5, what is the ruling if somebody, due to the crowd, again it's a repeated kind, but let's see, during the crowd, he gave his back to Marwa due to the crowd, to see someone who is coming towards him. So he said if he turned around and he was walking like in reverse, then that would not be sufficient. He needs to go back a few steps. And so he needs to go back. He needs to go back a few steps in which he is sure that he has included the steps which were taken while he was giving his back to Marwa, or where the problem happened, disruption happened in the sa'i. Similarly, while coming from Marwa to Safa, he needs to face Safa. Same thing happens, he needs to go few steps behind. Question number 6. If a woman, she was in her first round and her monthly period encountered her, so she left the sa'i and she performed her wudu and she came and completed the, oh no, this is of the tawaf, sorry, it's not sa'i. Yeah, because I was wondering why you don't need wudu for sa'i. So yeah, so if a woman, she got her she encountered her monthly period after the first round, she left, she performed her wudu, she came back, she completed the tawaf, and she did not redo, okay, the tawaf, because before 4 round you have to complete and redo something like that, because after fourth round you complete, but before fourth round there's a precautionary measure which is taken into consideration. But for the women in period, okay, but she has to leave Masjid al-Haram, women in period. So let's see, let's delete and see the question again. So this is not haid, this is not monthly period, it is encountering something which invalidated her wudu. Yes. So if a woman, uh, her wudu became invalidated after the first round, and she exited the platform of tawaf, she performed the wudu, she came back after wudu, she completed her tawaf, but she did not redo, and then she did her sa'i between Safa and Marwa, and she performed the tawaf around tawaf of Nisa. Okay, she did her tawaf of Nisa, and obviously she did her 2 rakat, and this seems to be someone who has done in tawaf of Umrat al-Tamattu'. It does not say in the question, but you can understand that ثم عادت إلى منى. No, this is tawaf of Hajj. This tawaf of Hajj. Okay. The question just says if a woman, she encountered a invalidation of wudu after first round, and she exited the tawaf area, performed her wudu, she came back, she completed her tawaf, and she did not redo the tawaf, and then she was supposed to redo because it's before fourth round, and she did her tawaf of Nisa, and then after she came back to Mina and Arafat, Adat ila Mina, sorry, she came back to Mina, she realized that her responsibility was to redo the tawaf and not complete the tawaf. So will it be necessary upon her to redo the sa'i and tawaf of Nisa if she comes back, so that she can do the tawaf of Hajj? So the question is, she wudu invalidated, she did the wudu, she came, she was supposed, because it's a first round, she's supposed to redo the tawaf, she did not redo the tawaf. So in this case, um, uh, she completed like 6 rounds, and then she did the sa'i and did the tawaf in Nisa, and then she came to Mina in the manasik al-Hajj, like you have to stay 2 nights in Mina, and during the daytime you can go to Masjid al-Haram and do your a'mal and manasik. She realized, okay, or she realized that her ruling was that she needs to redo the whole tawaf. Will it be obligatory upon her to redo the sa'i and tawaf nisa if she goes back to perform the tawaf of Hajj? So he says yes, because the tawaf of Hajj was invalid, but sa'i was not invalid, but it's all sequential. So once the tawaf is invalid, the rest goes in domino effect. So he says, Naam, yes, she needs to redo the sa'i and Tawaf al-Nisa also. So Tawaf al-Hajj, Salat Tawaf al-Hajj. Sa'i between Safa and Marwa, and Tawaf al-Nisa and Salat Tawaf al-Nisa. Question 7, we already mentioned. What is the ruling of performing the sa'i in the basement, which has been recently um, it's a recent extension of sa'i to go downwards, basement. So he said that if the basement is parallel to the original, remember, not the newly made platform of sa'i between Safa and Marwa, the original, then it is original walkway of sa'i, Safa and Marwa walkway of sa'i, then it will be permissible. It will be permissible in it. And if that basement area is parallel to the new area, then whatever the ruling of new area is will be applied here. Is it required? Okay. Is it required to have consistency in the rounds of sa'i? Um, uh, and what is the limit? He says uh, the requirement of the consistency and continuity in the rounds of sa'i is based on walk between Safa and Marwa, is based on the obligatory precaution. And the criteria is the common observer, commonly considered observer, common observation, as mentioned in ruling number 340 in the Manasik al-Hajj. Question number 9. Is it permissible to rest during the sa'i between Safa and Marwa? It says yes, it's permissible. However, it's recommended precaution to avoid this resting as long as there is no tiredness, or if a person is not exhausted and not in fatigue and not tired. Avoid it as a recommended precaution. And we'll stop at this question number 10, which is uh, uh, he says you have mentioned that the exemption from observing the continuity, commonly considered consistency or continuity between the rounds, is to sit during the sa'i on the Safa or on the Marwa, or in between to sit. Um, is there any time limitation for that? Okay. So 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 when you sit on Marwa for dua, or you sit for the Safa for dua, or you sit in between for anything, is there any time limit? He says no. Again, the Sayyidi Sistan is throwing in your court. بل العبرة بالصدق العرفي. Whatever commonly consideration is, or a common observer considers it, obviously intellectual, and he knows the people who are educated in these rules, they say that this guy is not doing sa'i. Khalas, this guy is done with his sa'i. If someone hypothetically beside you and sees you in that condition, if he says this guy is done with his sa'i, he's no more doing sa'i, then obviously that will be the criteria. So the time is left upon the commonly considered observer, or common consideration. Uh, so for a ما يعد جلوسا للاستراحة لا زيادة عليه. So whatever is considered resting for relieving yourself from tired and fatigue, not more than that. If you have rested, stand up and continue. So resting is permissible. For resting is standing on the Mount Safa for long period to perform the dhikr and dua interrupts or violates the commonly considered consistency between the sa'i. So you came to Safa and just you want to do some du'as there, okay, and then you continue. So will that affect standing? Will that affect the commonly considered consistency or continuity? He said no, it will not affect. What about the discontinuation? Question number 12. Um, and I think I will leave this question number 12 and onward because it is all about discontinuing the sa'i so far. Yes, so far. So we will leave to question number 12. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.